Before the war, American knees-less held mass rallies in Madison Square Garden. These rhinoplasty and jaw reduction surgeries, when done right, makes them a whole new person. Kitum Cave, Kenya, believed to be the source of Ebola and Marburg, two of the deadliest diseases known to man. An expedition was staged by the US military in the 1990s in an attempt to identify the vector species presumably residing in the cave. It is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. Passenger photo while plane flew near East Palestine, Ohio. Chemical fire after train derailed. Streamer uses dozens, if not hundreds, of phones to stream at the exact same time in order to receive more views. A family of Zabas, one of the oldest dog breeds in the world, originally from what is now Mexico. To the Native Americans, they were guardians of the night and the underworld, protectors against evil spirits, companions of witches and wizards, and guides of mortals in difficult times. The interior of a Gypsy-owned wagon from the 1800s. Oxford, 212 years apart. Oxford 1810. Oxford 2022. West Papua National Liberation Army with New Zealander hostage Philip Mertens taken last week. TPNPD is demanding Indonesia recognizes Papuan independence before releasing Philip. The Ohio train derailment might be the biggest ecological disaster in US history. My French city needs specific flag protection for its twin town sign. This Rottweiler with vitiligo, a genetic condition that causes him to lose a pigment in his fur. Burger King France now use washable dishes, as a new laws force all restaurants to do so. In Shandong, China, a mentally challenged farmer built a 7-story building with his bare hands with the aim of having two brothers come and live together, despite being told repeatedly by villagers that his two brothers had long since passed away. This airport in Vienna has a miniature model of every plane that has landed or departed from it. The olive tree of Vavs, on Crete. This tree, which has the trunk 15 feet in diameter, is at least likely 2,900 years old. This tree lived through the writing of the Iliad, the Golden Age of Athens, the rise of the Roman Empire, and the birth of Christ. UK's Victoria Memorial versus India's Victoria Memorial. There is a tribe in India that has learned to make living bridges out of ficus tree roots. The bridges take 15 to 30 years to complete. Mature bridges stretch 15 to 250 feet over deep rivers and gorges. Two patrons at the Rothschild party in 1972. If all of the Earth's water were consolidated into a sphere, way less than I would have anticipated. A bit alarming, to be honest. All of Earth's water in comparison with Earth. When you order using Grubhub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, you are not really supporting local businesses. These services take all the money. The driver gets hardly anything either. These services mark the food up 25 to 90% plus add like $10 fees. Then they take 2/3 of it from the restaurant. Unreal. The other day, someone posted an aerial view of Tokyo. However, it failed to really grasp the sheer magnitude of the size of Tokyo. This is a Google Earth aerial view of Tokyo, provided in 8K. Where the city ends, Arvakir, Mongolia. Japan recently discovered 7,000 new islands. They did a survey recounting how many islands they had in 2022 using new technology, which officially counted 14,125. Their previous data before that, recorded in 1987, only counted 6,852. Oldest bottle of wine was found in a Roman grave. After 248 hours under debris without eating and drinking anything, 17-year-old girl Alina Rulmez, literally means immortal in Turkey, survived earthquake in Kahramanmaraş or Turkey and was rescued. Doctors say she is healthy, and we are unable to explain how her kidney is still functioning. The Aral Sea, pictured in 1989, left, and 2014, right. Once the world's fourth largest lake, its total size has now shrunk to less than 10% of its size in the early 1960s, and its gradual disappearance has had a disastrous impact on the local environment and people. Lions can grow thick winter coats, despite coming from a warm savanna environment. They do well in the cold. China's fast telescope, about the size of 30 standard football fields. It can detect signals from as far as 13.7 billion light years away, almost the edge of the universe. Argyroxyphium, or the flower of patience. It opens every 7 years, and it lasts only for 7 days. These are the mourning clothes worn by Count Magnus Bray at the funeral of King Carol XIV Johan of Sweden, 1814. Billionaire Jack Ma and the Australian pen pals he had been in contact with for 43 years. Melbourne 2023. Hangzhou 1980. An alligator residing in a Florida neighborhood has had its mouth taped shut since December. It's believed the animal's mouth was taped shut when a trapper attempted to remove the alligator, but it's unclear why the animal was left there. This is the Anchor Wyke, a tree in England old enough to witness historical events such as the signing of the Magna Carta, 1215, and said to be where Henry VIII courted in Barleen in the 1530s. Light pillars, when ground light reflects off ice crystals in the air. A bull born without myostatin. This allows for unrestricted muscle growth. Sinking castle of Lake Garda, Italy. Royal Albatross, the largest flying existing bird today. This miniature chessboard is designed to fit on a ring. My friend from Czech Republic sent me this. He says that this is their Czech magazine talking about Putin, who said he wants Russia to attend on Olympic Games. The way this tree has grown through the bridge. Scythian golden pectoral found in Ukraine. Samurai posing in front of the Sphinx during the Ikeda Mission in 1864. Some McDonald's branches have the logo, with just one arch. McDonald's restaurant. Try our new slushes, only $2. A graveyard of old tanks in Italy. Stretched freckles on an old cut. There's a hallway at Las Vegas airport that spans a quarter of a mile. One of the oldest known mechanical watches, owned by Philip Melanchthon in 1530. Photo shows the results of a lab test hypervelocity impact between a small 1.2 cm sphere of aluminum traveling at approximately 6.8 km per second and a bulk of aluminum 18 cm thick. The lab test demonstrates what could happen if small space debris strikes a spacecraft. The plus forest LED route indicator, a British product from the 1920s, is a scroll map navigator in the shape of a watch. It came with tiny interchangeable instructions that you scrolled manually to see which roads to take when driving. More about analog GPS devices below. This 100-plus-year-old readable miniature collection of Shakespeare's plays. A sculpture of Camazots at the Museum of Natural History in Bourges, France. It was the Mayan version of a vampire. Headquarters of India's Central Railway, built in 1888, took 10 years to build. Despite seeming harmless, aquatic snails are one of the deadliest species on Earth. This is because they are the carriers of a parasitic flatworm that causes schistosomiasis. This infection is estimated to cause up to 200,000 deaths a year, and its impacts are considered second only to malaria. Photo of the surface of Venus from the Soviet Venera program. The Sedlec Ossuary, a Christian chapel in the Czech Republic decorated by the bones of approximately 40,000 people. Sahasra Bahu Temple, a 1,100-year-old temple in India. When an F-117 Nighthawk crashed in Sequoia National Forest in July 1986, 2 years before it was publicly unveiled, the Air Force established restricted airspace at its crash site, and its debris was replaced with remains of a F-101A crash stored at Area 51. The way snow gathered on this tree caused it to spread open as it fell over. Volkswagen was sued by Czechoslovakian carmaker Tatra before World War II because the original Beetle was so similar to the Tatra T97. After Germany invaded Czechoslovakia in 1938, the lawsuit was cancelled by the knees. Tatra T97. Volkswagen Beetle. This rare photo of a hummingbird balancing on another hummingbird's beak. Meteora is a rock formation in Greece best known for having 24 monasteries of the Eastern Orthodox Church. These were built in the 14th century to give Greek monks a safe haven from Turkish invasions. Meteora's caves also contain incidents of humanity's transition from Neanderthals to Homo sapiens. 2,300 years old caves carved with extreme precision in India. Julian Koch, a 17-year-old girl who was the sole survivor of a plane crash in the Amazon rainforest in 1971. She fell 10,000 feet still strapped to her seat and spent 11 days alone in the jungle before being rescued. King Tutankhamun's throne chair is an extraordinary and exquisite piece, among the greatest wonders of ancient Egyptian civilization. Snails created a mosaic in the sand. The boat carved on the olive pit has a history of hundreds of years. The Rosetta Stone is a stele composed of granodiorite inscribed in 196 BC. The top and middle texts are in ancient Egyptian using hieroglyphic and demotic scripts respectively, while the bottom is in ancient Greek. The Rosetta Stone proved to be the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs. Lake Van, the largest lake in Turkey, and one of the three great seas of historic Armenia. Remarkably, it is one of the largest lakes without an outlet, and is highly saline. In 2017, a 3,000-year-old underwater fortress was discovered in its depths. Dad was a maintenance engineer for Concorde. One of the rarest and most endangered mushroom species on the planet, the wrinkled peach mushroom, Rhodotus palmatus, also looks like a 3-star Michelin restaurant dessert. Selfie of the U-2S Dragon Lady pilot with the Chinese surveillance balloon above the continental United States. Cambodia's Angkor Wat, largest religious building in the world, covering 162.6 hectares, 400 acres. A Chandra X-ray observatory close-up of the core of the M87 galaxy, with a black hole at its center. Chandra X-ray close-up. Chandra X-ray wide field. Grenade shrapnel from seaside within Okinawa WW2 Navy HQ. A wasp stopped, cleared the US Open as it circled Japanese player Kimiko Date Crumb during her match against Venus Williams. Track marker being swallowed by the tree. USBS street types and abbreviation. In preparation for the annual spawning season of the red crab, rangers on Christmas Island put up barriers along the roadside to prevent the crabs from being crushed by cars. They have also constructed a 5 meters high bridge to help the crabs move across the island and continue their migration. Pallid bats were long considered to be gleaning insectivores which specialized in eating venomous arthropods like scorpions and centipedes. Newer research has found that they are also pollinators. Hundreds of plant species are pollinated by bats. The way we view the cosmos has come a long way technology-wise. These images are the Whirlpool Galaxy, a comparison between 1845 and 2005. The image from 1845 was drawn by William Parsons, 3rd Earl of Ross, while looking through his telescope Leviathan. 23 million light-years. The Whirlpool Galaxy, 2005, 1845. Marine iguanas sneeze frequently to expel salt from glands near their noses. The salt often lands on their heads, giving them a distinctive white wig. A veterinarian used fiberglass to repair a box turtle's broken shell after it was hit by a car. She then released it into the woods near her home. Several years later the box turtle returned to the area as was released and is doing well. Butterflies congregate on turtles' and crocodilians' eyes to drink their tears. They need salt and the tears of these reptiles are an easy way to obtain it. Buff-tip moths, of family Notodontidae, resemble the pale branches of broken birch trees, family Betulaceae. This camouflage hides them from potential predators. In 2002, Airbus filed a patent for a trapdoor positioned outside of the cockpit. Theoretically, should a tourist or hijacker try to force their way into the cockpit, a trapdoor would open and send them into a security cell underneath the cabin floor. The shovel stork is a tree-tent species whose chicks are often at risk of being stolen for sale in the black market. When a chick is rescued, human contact must be limited to prevent imprinting. A simple gray sheet and sock puppet will be worn during feeding, in order to hide the human form. Sometimes animals also need vaccines to protect them. Recently a vaccine for avian cholera has been created to protect albatross chicks on Amsterdam Island in the Indian Ocean. Avian cholera was decimating chicks, but this new vaccine has led to a dramatic increase in survival. The kindest man the world ever had, Mr. Rogers was so prepared that he even prepared children for his death. When he died, his website posted a link to help children understand what happened. The post read, "Remember that feelings are natural and normal, and that happy times and sad times are part of everyone's life." Okay, so everyone at home laughed at me painting rocks to look like strawberries, but I found out that if you put them around your berry plants and bushes before the fruit appears, the birds will peck the red rocks. They hate pecking super hard things, so they will leave the fruit when it appears. We had about 8 crows day after day, out by my raspberry bushes, and after the rocks were placed around, no crows. Website idea: you input the year you graduated high school and the website generates a list of outdated facts and concepts you were taught in school that have since been disproven. Hoarfrost is formed by direct condensation of water vapor to ice at temperatures below freezing and occurs when air is brought to its frost point by cooling. Fringe-lipped buds, Batrachops are very smart and hunt frogs by listening to the chunking sounds male frogs make. They are also easily trained to respond to novel stimuli, such as a ringtone or rock music, and can remember the sounds for years. Lost in the sauce. The yellow-banded bumblebee, Bombus terricola, like other bumblebees, is capable of buzz pollination, which is vital to many plants, including potatoes. Pollen is held firmly by the anthers on the flower and must be shook loose by the buzz. This spiky fellow is a ladybug larva. They also eat aphids, but will also consume unlatched ladybug eggs. Their mother lays these trophic eggs to make sure they have adequate food. There's a very tiny muscle in the forearms that contracts only when lifting the pinky finger. Michelangelo's Moses sculpture is lifting the pinky, therefore that muscle is contracted. Incredible attention to detail. American firefighters extinguishing the fire in Mexico without crossing the border. A shoe worn by Allied spies during World War II has an inverted heel to mislead the Germans when they track their trail and direct them in a completely wrong direction. In 1719, prisoners in Paris were allowed to go free under the condition that they marry Frosty Tooths and go with them to Louisiana. The newly married couples were chained together and taken to the port of embarkation.